Hi, I'm Adam Meyer of Mill City Lutherie in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and once again we got something real special here. This is, I believe, to be a 1950 Gibson ES330. Just checking the features of it and the serial number. Checks out as a 1950. This thing is in amazing condition. There are only a few little flaws. There's like a little scuffs here on the neck heel, a couple little scratches around the fingerboard extension. Otherwise, this is in amazing condition. It came in without strings on. It's playable. It's just the owner brought it in with the strings off. The neck pickup has been rewound. Sometime around 1990, Lindy Fralin rewound this pickup, so we know that it was done by not a hobbyist, somebody very credible. The primary issue is the pickguard on this. It is deteriorated quite badly, and a pre-made one just isn't currently available. Both the owner and I have looked around a little bit, so I'm going to make a new one that's authentic looking to this guitar. There will be one slight alteration to it to kind of modernize and prevent things from happening down the road again, so it's kind of a forever fix. But yeah, we'll get some close-up beauty shots of this and start discussing the reason why this happened and what I'm going to do to fix the situation. This is a very clean guitar. It's kind of amazing to have something this clean show up. Now when you say a perfect condition 1950s guitar, of course it's not going to be literally perfect. One thing I noticed here that the owner didn't is we got a couple little scuff marks here on this side as well. Nothing major, but otherwise this has been kept very clean. It's in near immaculate condition. Get a look at the back here in just a second. It's almost as if whoever played this laid a pillow on their lap before taking it out of the case. All that checking is to be expected. That's just what happens with lacquer over time. But the lack of dings and scrapes, that is what is really nice about this instrument. We do have little tiny scuff there, not a big issue when you consider the condition of the rest of the instrument. And we got kind of the back of the peg head painted black. That was a real thing from the factory. There are people that think that it's hiding a peg head break or whatever, but no, they did do this. And also there have been times when people have done this to hide a peg head break, but this time this is original. So you're seeing the real thing here. Alright, let's get a look at this pickguard here. As you can see, we've got some damage there along these upper edges. And that is because of the tortoise shell that was used here. It's cellulose. It's a man-made, kind of a plastic before modern plastics. The old school tortoise, it looks really nice. I don't know exactly how it's made. It's like you pour a couple chemicals and you get the swirls in it. But it gasses off. There's always this very slow gassing away of the material, and it ends up crumbling and dissolving. It can damage the plastic. I wasn't there when it happened, but this pickup, most likely why it went bad was because of the tortoise. It can corrode away that very thin pickup wire and make your pickup go bad. Another thing is the rest of the hardware. This is the pickguard bracket. As you can see just how rusted that is. That is most likely from being kept in the case, an enclosed case with this gassing off. So I'm going to use, instead of tortoise on the bottom here, I'm going to use something that was around at the time, and that is Bakelite. You're not going to see it because it's on the bottom side of the pickguard, but Bakelite is what was used for old Telecaster, broadcaster pickguards. They'd spray some lacquer over it to make it shiny. I'm just going to laminate a couple layers of this together. It's something that was around when this guitar was being made, so it's kind of era correct for a material. You know, I don't want to put actual cellulose tortoise on this and then this customer calls me back 10 years ago and his pickup's gone bad again. So that's why I'm changing what material. We're going to be replacing that pickguard bracket that I just showed you, and this is brand new in the bag. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to relic that to be about the same as this tailpiece. Everything on this guitar is so clean, but nickel plating will age over time. So I'm going to try and match this. The idea is that we get a new pickguard on, and if this were hanging in a vintage shop, you're really going to have to sit there and study it to try and figure out if the pickguard is original or not. We want to get that kind of idea because everything else about this is just so clean. I'm going to put in that little bit of extra effort to make sure that we kind of match what is here. This finish isn't perfectly glassy, wet looking. It's got a lot of the spider webbing in it. So when we're done with this, I'll probably do it like just a light little bit of scuffing, just so it's not perfectly mirror reflective. And we're also going to try and yellow a little bit of the white around here. This is a 5-ply plastic. I'll be beveling to match, but when I cut it, it's going to be bright white. I'm going to try and knock that back a little bit. So, all right, we need to make a template of this and get everything underway. I've done other pickguard duplication videos, and as you know, I always want to make a template first. You can see how this pickguard is pretty warped. So right off the bat, there's no point in saving any of this. I'm just going to break this cellulose off, the tortoise, and then I'm going to try and use a method to flatten this out the best I can, because I want to be able to stick this onto some MDF so I can route out a nice template for this. And currently it's just curved too much for me to be able to do that. Just disintegrating. There isn't anything left to save. So I'm going to warm this up with a hairdryer, not a heat gun. People online will say, oh, you can use a heat gun, this, that. That can very easily catch this on fire or melt it, especially if this was, you know, I still had the cellulose tortoise on the back. That's very flammable. So I'm just going to get it, you know, a little hot to the touch, and then I'm going to put some foil over it, some weight, just let it sit for a while. If I have to do it over and over, then I do it over and over. All right, here we go. It's done with the bandsaw. I have now attached the original pickguard to one side face down, and on the other side the new pickguard with a little bit of tape so it slides around. I'm not going to scuff anything. That is also that way. So both pickguards, even though one's on this side, one's on the other side, both facing up are that way. The upsides are both that way. I'm going to take this type of router bit, very small diameter with a little bearing at the top. I'm going to cut out nice square edge to the template all the way around. And I'll be doing this because in the pickup cutaways, that needs to be cut square. So that's why I put the new pickguard on now, so I don't have to keep reattaching and realigning everything. These will be cut out square. Once I've gone around the whole pickguard, established the template, old one comes off, put on a new router bit, put this on in the router table, and that will then ride along and cut the nice bevel into the new pickguard. But I gotta remember to stay out of the pickup cutaways. These remain square, everything else gets the bevel. So I may end up just where I come just shy, because I don't want to accidentally slip and go around the corner. Come up just shy, then I'll finish it off by hand, get that last tiny little bit. I'm going to end up needing to sand around the edges anyways. As smoothly as I go with the router bit, it still leaves a little bit of chatter, and the original here was a nice smooth edge on it, so I'm going to have to sand it anyways. So there you go. We'll cut it out, the template square first, then we'll move on to the bevel. Really no special technique or anything. I'm just going to, when I open up this iodine, I'm using gloves. Not that you can put iodine on your skin, it'll just stain your skin for a while. But I have other projects to be handling, and I don't want the chance of whatever's on my skin getting onto another guitar. Just a little Q-tip, doing this over a paper towel, so I don't get any mess anywhere. And we're just simply going to brush it on. That's really all there is to it. Let it sit for a minute or so, and then rub off the excess. Alright, cut out some strips of Bakelite. If you can see that, it's not really plastic. Well, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's what like old broadcaster and Telecaster pickguards were made of. They'd spray lacquer over them, make them shiny. In a way, it kind of looks like brushed aluminum if you're able to look at it close enough. But I cut out a bunch of strips. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together. A little piece of the tortoise that was off the back here. I have this, and roughly 4 layers of this will be the same thickness. I can actually see that there are layers in the tortoise, so I'm doing kind of the same method they did before, but I'm using a material that's going to last forever. So I'll get these all glued together, kind of square them up on one side, glued together nice. Cut them to fit the lengths in here, just the same as the original. The one on this area here, up here, I'll have to drill a hole through for the screw that goes into the side of the neck for mounting. I'll put that in my little vise, and just a little hole through there. Not much to it. Then I also need to kind of relic or age the bracket that goes down near the waist of the guitar. As you can see, it's brand new, nice shiny nickel plated. What I'm going to do, it's an acid bath. You don't actually put it in acid. I'll put it inside a little plastic container. That container goes into a larger container that has just a little bit of muriatic acid in there, and the vapors will kind of etch and dull down the nickel plating on this. And we're not going to go crazy with it. because the rest of this guitar is really, really clean. Like I said before, we're going to try and get it to resemble the tailpiece. And yeah, it's not difficult to do, but yeah. It's middle of January now, so I'm going to end up doing this down in my basement because the fumes for the acid are really noxious. You don't want to like open up the container with your face over it. So I'm going to do it downstairs in the basement because I can't do it outside at this time of year. And I'll just show you the result because there isn't really much to see. I'm just putting it in a little bucket. And that's it. This is before. You can see the bracket is definitely a lot cleaner and shinier than the tailpiece. And here it is. Just made it a little bit cloudy. It's not perfectly shiny. But, pretty good match to the tailpiece. Did not go for a hard relic, went light relic. And as you can see, we got a good result. Last time, before I actually attached this guitar, this is like a super clean guitar, but it still does have little scratches here and there. And this Pickguard, pulling the protective plastic off, it looks perfect, but we don't want to put that on. We want it just like 99%. So instead of using steel wool or a pick or anything to scuff this up that you might do on something even harder, well, what's the reason for a Pickguard like this getting scratches? It's your fingernails. So I'm just going to do this for a few minutes. I can already see just a real light brushing across the top. I'm not trying to make some hard relic here. It's just a little bit of something, and I don't know if you can tell there, but it's just a little bit, tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. I've also scuffed the underside of the Pickguard where this gets put together. So I'm just bringing this in. Had my finger lining up with it before. There we go. And I'll just hold it for a second until the glue sets up. There you have it, Gibson ES300, 1950, in spectacular condition. It's very rare to see something this clean. They're always going to have some marks somewhere. So if it's like this clean, this is as good as it gets. You know, go through it be as careful as I can be with recreating this Pickguard. Add the little bit of aging, a little bit of scuffing. You know, it's going to take a real sharp eye to notice that this isn't the original. It's going to be like, you know, the Pickguard isn't kind of curving or warping, like what's with that, or that I used Bakelite instead of a tortoise under that. It takes somebody like with a real sharp eye to notice those things, and that's the goal of this. But as I explained earlier in the video, I made the judgment call to use something other than tortoise because when you have something like this, you don't want to keep having the same issues happen over and over. And this neck pickup most likely failed because of the tortoise underneath the Pickguard. So why would I do that again? You don't want to have it rewound a second time in 15, 20 years. Hopefully it lasts forever now. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can always leave it in the comment section below. Or you can contact me directly. Check the About section of my channel and the information should be there. And we'll see you next time.